All right, podcast listeners, real talk. I know that you are incredibly smart ladies. I know that you are well-read. You've probably consumed lots of courses, maybe even joined some memberships, and you're listening to the podcast. This podcast is going to take you from all of that knowledge and awareness into embodiment, true transformation. Because what good is knowing all of this stuff if we're not able to truly live it as satisfied women? Welcome to the Satisfied Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Alanna Kaivalya. This podcast is dedicated to helping women lean into their femininity and rediscover the power of their feminine gifts. We take a look at what it means to be a modern woman and how we can live a satisfied life on our own terms. Visit the hub at thesatisfiedwoman.com. And we are just in time because right here at the end of this month, on October 29th, I'm beginning a 4-week live guided experience through my book, The Way of the Satisfied Woman, and the accompanying course that helps you truly lean into your feminine power. The mini-series of podcasts this month has taught you about guilt, receiving, boundaries, and the foundations of what helps you to reclaim your feminine power. But today I want to talk about the real work, which is turning what we've learned into how we live. And I'll be guiding you through it over the next 4 weeks. So come join me through this experience that starts on October 29th. For all the information and to register, head over to thesatisfiedwoman.com. That's where you're going to find lots of different ways to explore this work more deeply and truly bring it into your life. Because really, ladies, I want our lives all to change for the better. So this month has had a little mini-series. I tend to do that with these podcasts. I give little, let's say like courses or lectures with these podcasts over the course of about a month usually, and do a couple of episodes that tie one in next to the next. So if you haven't listened to the first 3 episodes of this mini-series this month, I definitely recommend you go back and check them out. The first one explores feminine guilt, which is its own special thing. It is the guilt we feel in anticipation of potentially disappointing someone, not even our own behavior. And it causes us to continually overgive. I talked about why receiving can be a challenge for us and how we're actually meant to receive all of the goodness in life through attraction and magnetism. And then, of course, I explained how boundaries create this shape, our bodies, this vessel that is what allows us to receive everything that is meant for us in this life. And I want you to receive all of that, not just because, I'm an advocate for women and feminine power, but because I know that when you are full, when you are replenished, when you are properly nourished, you will have the energy that you need to bring your work, your magic into the world. And right now, the world needs your magic more than ever before. And we are at such a precious time right now where we have more power, agency, and choice than we have ever had as women. We have the ability to think outside of this box that the world has put us in and craft something different for our lives. I have the great power and privilege of speaking to women in my one-on-one coaching work, and I can tell you with great certainty that women are waking up to this reality. We're looking around and realizing that there is so much more for us and that power is inherent in our femininity. Even if we have lived most of our lives being taught that women are less than, that we're weaker, that we're only pretty when we smile, that if we have too many ideas, we're a bitch, that if we ask for too much, we're pushy, that if we have emotions, we're crazy. This culture, this world, wasn't made for us. But it's time for us to recalibrate, recenter, and truly reclaim what is ours. Because look, it's nobody's fault. And I always advocate giving everyone, ourselves and all those around us, a little bit of grace. It's all just been some improper training. And now we're learning to do things differently. So what's really critical here is that we actually do the things differently. I have a lot of podcasts with a lot of information. I've written a book with a ton of content. And perhaps these ideas are things that resonate with you, but until you actually embody these practices, it doesn't become yours and it doesn't make a difference. You see, these days we swim in content and call it growth. But knowledge without embodiment just becomes another performance, another cloak to wear. It's another way in which we overfunction and still are miserable inside, drained out, burned out, and continue to overgive. So I want us to translate some of the things that we're learning into true embodiment, because that's actually how the feminine learns. You've heard me say it, I'm sure, many times, that the feminine woman is embodied. We understand our truths, we understand what's right for us because we feel it first. That's how we connect to our intuition. That's how we really embrace the power of our femininity. So when I say things to you like intuition is one of the great feminine superpowers, you might nod your head and go, absolutely, Alanna, that sounds awesome. I really believe that. But until you actually lean into your intuition and have the strength to follow it, it's just lip service. If I say that your vessel as a feminine woman needs to always be full, that you can't drain your energy past the point of your ability to replenish it because it will burn you out, I can hear the yeses in the audience and in my heart from all the women listening. But until we actually claim our boundaries, hold energetic clarity, and make sure that we don't drain ourselves past the point of replenishment, it doesn't make a difference. I want to share an experience I had with you recently of someone who found my website. I'm not sure if she read my book or not. I don't know how she found me, but she found my website. She headed over to thesatisfiedwoman.com. She joined my membership for a free trial that I was offering and spent 3 or 4 days running around the membership, looking at things, watching some videos in the courses that I provide in my membership, watching some replays. She even showed up on a live broadcast that I was doing inside my membership, and she and I essentially had a little one-on-one experience for about 30 minutes where I was answering some of her questions and giving her some insights. And the next day, she promptly canceled. And I was really kind of stunned and, if I'm honest, a little bit hurt, because it seemed like she was really engaged and ready for the work. And so out of curiosity, I asked her, what happened? Why did you cancel? I wanted to make sure something wasn't offensive or the experience wasn't bad. And she responded, you know what? I'm a lifelong learner, and I just consumed all the content that I wanted to, and I didn't see any step-by-steps on how to bring this work to life. I didn't see anything concrete, was the word that she used. And I thought about that for a minute, because I have a tremendous amount of content, a tremendous amount of work, a tremendous amount of practices. I have a whole book, a membership, and this isn't to pat myself on the back here. I was really trying to get to the bottom of why she didn't feel like there was concrete actions for her to embrace this. And upon some reflection, what I realized is what makes this work concrete is the embodiment, is the putting it into practice. But the embodiment requires connection, community, accountability, and support. Because I can tell you how to access your intuition, and you might think that's a really good idea, but unless you're doing it on a daily basis, unless you have someone there saying, hey, did you just ignore your intuition? Unless you have a group of people going, hey, you know what? I don't think that's right for you. How does that feel? You can continue to get away with all the other things you've been doing and get away with your old patterns and habits. At some point, ladies, we've got to be tired of our own shenanigans. We have to be willing to dig in and do the work and commit to ourselves, to stop abandoning ourselves, so that when our intuition does speak up, you know what? Life is hard. We have such a long pattern of ignoring it, overriding it, second-guessing it, that we might still do that for a while. But when we're a part of a community, when we have good friendships or a mentor who says, you know what? I know that answer was no for you. What happened there? That accountability, that connection, that community, that is what concretizes the content. If you want to make something concrete in your life, it's not about consuming more. It's about embodying it, connecting it, being accountable for it. So I come from my old life in a land far, far away at a time long, long ago. I moved in spiritual circles. And of course, I've studied psychology and all of that. And there's a term in spiritual circles called spiritual bypassing, which is where you essentially wear the garments of the spirituality. You make it look as if you are in this spiritual world, but you don't actually let it change you. You don't let it go deep. You don't hold yourself accountable to what the work is asking. You wear the garb, you portray the image without actually letting it become who you are. That's not change. That's not transformation. The same thing can happen here, ladies, with this work, this satisfied life that can be yours is only yours if you're willing to concretize the content, to make real this feminine power, to embody your femininity fully and wear it like the proud, gorgeous, I don't want to say armor, but I don't want to feel like it's protecting us from the world, costume that it is. I'm going with costume. We're close to Halloween. You know, when we portray ourselves as a powerful woman, that needs to be real. And that doesn't happen overnight, okay? I think this person who, it was like a tourist experience, and that's fine. You know, I'm happy for people to come into my world to see if it's a good fit, if it's resonant. I want people to come into my world and stay for the support, for the work, for the embodiment. Because it's only through the embodiment that this work is actually going to change any lives. And I want it to change all of our lives. Embodiment is how we learn. It's through rhythm. It's through ritual. It's through relationship. So when I do a 4-week course like I'm about to launch, that gives you time and support to take the lessons and actually apply them to your life. And when there's a hiccup, or when there's a question, or when it doesn't quite land, or when it doesn't quite go the way you thought, or when you want somebody to cheer for you or hold you accountable, you have that. That's what makes it real. When we go through a ritual together, that's what helps to bring this work to the inner landscape. Any ritual that we perform, and there are lots of different rituals. Any ritual that we do is only resonant when it's a reflection of your inner reality and it shifts your psyche from one state of being to the next. So, for example, the ritual of marriage, we're all familiar with that one. It takes two people who were once completely separate and different and makes them into one cohesive unit. Their psyches know it. The community knows it. That ritual is witnessed by the community so that all are in agreement, so that there is a level of accountability. Let's say the wedding happens in complete secret and one person doesn't tell anybody about it. Then out in the world, that person is still single. Rituals help to usher us to a new reality. So when you develop a ritual of feminine embodiment, you're making that your new reality. When you have a relationship, a community with other feminine women holding you accountable to this level of power they know you to be capable of, that's what makes the content concrete. It's not magic. It's not a step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. It's a live it every day and tell me how it's going. When the content becomes concrete, your nervous system finally believes you. It believes what your intuition has known all along, that you are powerful beyond measure. So when I talk about feminine guilt, that we feel this guilt in anticipation of perhaps disappointing someone else, and when I say to you, that's not yours, lay it down. That is a concrete assignment, ladies. I'm actually telling you that feminine guilt is not real. It's not helpful. It doesn't belong to you. Lay it down. But when you try that tomorrow and you have to face the disappointment of a loved one who is used to you always saying yes and overgiving, I want you to be in a membership, a community, where you have the support, where you can say, gosh, you know what, that was really hard. But that I, or friends, or someone can cheer you on and say, you know what, it was hard, but they'll get over it. And I am so glad you chose you. Because it's the support, it's the connection that's going to give you the power to stay in your femininity. Because the world out there, if it's all alone, if it's just step by step this, 1, 2, 3 that, you're going to let yourself off the hook. You're going to go back to your old habits and patterns. You're going to say, oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. I listened to that podcast. I thought about it for a second, but gosh, it didn't work. No, of course it didn't. Real change, real transformation is fucking difficult, but it's possible. It's possible. And I know that it's possible. And this is why I choose to do podcasts. This is why I choose to do longer form work, because I want to find the women who are ready to be supported and do the work. I want to be able to do a 4-week experience like I'm doing here in the month of November to help you really bring this stuff inside your body, to make it run deep so that it becomes your default setting, so that you never abandon yourself again. It's the reason why I do not employ social media outlets like Facebook or Instagram. Because if you're going to breeze by on a quick scroll for a few seconds and take a line or two and then move on, this isn't, it's colorful, it's lovely. You know, I like the scroll too, ladies. I'm not knocking everything. I'm not. But what I wanted to do with this final podcast in this mini-series is really get a little bit tough love, a little bit brass tacks, and a little bit real with you. Because these podcasts are tools. My membership is how you make something with those tools, right? If you've got a toolbox, yeah, you're ready to build a house. But until you start actually putting hammer to nail, that house will never be real. I'm not here for lip service. I'm not here for fly-by-night, quotes or, the spiritual bypassing version of whatever this is. I'm here for you. I'm here for your greatness, your transformation, and I'm not messing around. I really am not. I just got off of a podcast interview where, someone asked me, like, how do you enjoy doing this work? I said, well, this is my life's work. I can't imagine doing anything else. And not only do I feel a deep sense of humility with bringing this work to whomever I can bring it to, but I feel a profound sense of urgency. Because when a woman steps into her power, not only is she more grounded and authentic inside of herself, she gives permission to other women to do the same. And women have lived far too long with rules and oppressors who don't allow us to shine and be ourselves and feminine in our greatness. They either want us to do the masculine version of success in life, which is inauthentic to who we are, or they try to convince us that the feminine version of who we are is weak, is not valid, is inauthentic, is, not equipped for the world stage. I don't know. All those messages that we're wrong, that we're too emotional, that we're crazy, that we're bitchy. None of these things is true. There is a truth that is ours. It resides in our intuition, and we can only connect with it when we are fully embodied. When your nervous system believes what your soul already knows, that is the root of feminine power. So embodiment cannot be underestimated and cannot be overstated for us as feminine women. So let's do that. Unless you're driving, I know many listen to podcasts while driving. Go ahead and close your eyes for a second. And if you are driving, just imagine yourself in this space and then come back to this very real, very concrete, not abstract, 100% gets you into your feminine power practice. And it's just the beginning. So go ahead and close your eyes. Feel the breath. And place your hand or both of your hands on a place on your body that needs a little additional attention today. Maybe it's your heart. Maybe it's your lower belly. Maybe it's your legs. Just place your hands where you're feeling called to place them. And ask your body to deliver a truth to you today. It doesn't have to make sense. We don't have to know where it's from. We don't have to even know why this particular truth is being delivered or offered. Ask your body for a truth. It may come in the form of a word or a sentence. It may come in the form of a sensation. It may come in the form of a vision. We don't have to figure it out. We don't have to know the why. That's the power of intuition. It goes beyond logic and reason. The only thing we have to do is listen to and acknowledge that truth. Your body is powerful. Whatever this truth is that's being offered today, anchor to it through sensation, through embodiment. So if the truth was accompanied by a tightness or a lightness, a heaviness, a color, a sensation, simply honor it. And notice how, as you honor this truth that your body is offering you today, how your body shifts, how your breath shifts. This is your nervous system coming into regulation. This is your body relaxing when you trust yourself. Imagine the state that your nervous system and body have to hold when you're not listening, when you're not trusting yourself. So breathe into this part of the body that's offered you some truth today. Offer your body some gratitude for this incredible relationship that you have with yourself and your intuition. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Now this is simple, right? I don't know what truth you will have revealed to yourself today. Maybe it's simply, I'm tired. Maybe it's, you know what, my back hurts and I wasn't paying attention to it. Maybe the truth is, I'm done. Maybe the truth was, I'm capable of more. Whatever it was that was discovered today about your own truth, you make that concrete and real the more you continue to honor it. And the support that's needed to be called out if you don't, to be cheered on when you do, is what's going to help make this transformation real. Because I never want you to abandon yourself. I never want you to be diminished as a woman again. And I always want you to have access to your greatest source of wisdom, which is not books, it is not content, it's not the scroll, it's that powerful intuition inside of you. So if you're ready to stop collecting insights and start living into your power, then join me for the live guided feminine power experience that starts on October 29th, because this is where we move from concept to practice, from knowing to becoming the satisfied woman that I know you to be. We start on October 29th. It's a 4-week program. If you miss it, make sure that you join the membership. All of this can be found at thesatisfiedwoman.com. Thank you tremendously for being a part of this world, part of my world, and even greater thank yous to those of you starting to walk, live the way of the satisfied woman.